All right. Welcome back, folks, to another episode of Who Buddy Wants It. This week's going to be a little different than your standard video. We're not refurbishing any tools. We're not doing any tool reviews. We're not even going to do any projects today. We're a little bit behind. Next week, I'll finish out the anvil because I'm waiting on a couple of things to show up for it. I'm also starting up a new project where I'm refurbishing a drill press that I acquired from a buddy. So last week I sat down with Jeremy to kind of go through the ins and outs of what I wanted to do on it. And at the end of this video, I'll show you a little bit about what we came up with. He goes through some info on his lathe too, which is really, really interesting. Talks about collets, and he came up with a new setup for his lathe. So it's pretty interesting. So going back to some of the episodes, which I haven't finished up yet, is on the shipping container. Why am I building it? Well, let me show you a little bit here. So as if you start walking through my garage here, I have inventory everywhere, as you can see here. So these are some Harley mufflers that I purchased like a genius move last fall that thought I was going to be able to resell. They have been moving, but just not quite as fast as what I'd like. But not everything that you do as a reseller works out. And some things you eat and some things you actually make a profit on. So it's not as straightforward as everybody might think. So if you look down this wall over here, guess what? More Harley mufflers. So those are some things that I'm trying to get moved and get out of here. But I have tubs and buckets and all sorts of stuff through old tools and stuff that I'm going to start pricing here. So trying to come up with a way on how I'm actually going to do that. So that brings me to last weekend. So it's been a very interesting process over the last 6 to 8 months here. I bought a lot. I bought a shipping container. I wanted to start moving my inventory from in my house over to the shipping container, which has been fairly helpful and very good so far. But things have slowed down a lot, right? Sales have gone like extremely down. And then also with the shipping container, I was getting rental income where now things have been a challenge with there. Businesses are struggling. So some of the renters, we had to move out some of the payments, but things are working out overall. So that brings me to last weekend where I'm going through the garage and I'm trying to find ways to keep the business floating and keep things going. So I noticed that weights were selling for an extreme amount of money. So I did like I did with everything else I do. I hit eBay, I hit Amazon to see, hey, what are these actually selling for? And then I noticed that I had some old Olympic weights in the house here. So I was like, hey man, here's your chance. Let's get rid of that stuff, get it out of the garage. And then you can actually start covering, your mortgage on your lot. You can start covering some of the losses in your business. But as I started posting them on the groups on Facebook, I was getting like horrific. I couldn't believe what some of the stuff that people were posting here. So one guy wrote, how much meth are you smoking? Your wife must be incredibly disappointed at you. Look, if you don't want to buy them, that's fine. If you think I'm priced way too high, that's fine. But weights are not essential, right? Go get you an economics book and figure out, the supply versus demand curves on non-essential items. And you can, this is supply and demand here. This is not price gouging. And if you want weights, go get some weights. I'll sell you a muffler, fill it full of sand, and you can have as many weights as you want. So it's just ridiculous, some of the comments on there. I took it pretty personal at first until the next day I saw another guy selling something on there. Same people, same routines, giving them, down the road. So before you guys go off and start hassling all these resellers, maybe you should think about it, right? Because I don't make money on every deal I do. For example, my lot, I'm losing money right now. But guess what? Is my wife proud of me? So take that, guys. And guess what? We're the American dream. So I'm going to show you guys tonight what we do on a nightly basis, just shipping. So if you want to make some money on your weights, maybe you should start hustling and start selling some stuff and quit whining about what other people are pricing their items for. So check out and we'll show you the process.
The writer of this song, a 5-time Grammy winner, please welcome Lee Greenwood.
If tomorrow all the things were gone, I'd work for all my life, and I had to start again with just my children and my wife. Thank my lucky stars to be living here today, 'cause the flag still stands for freedom, and they can't take that away. And I'm proud to be.
All right, we have everything lined up here. We're going to start shipping out. We got roughly 14 items that we're going to be shipping out tonight. As you can see on here, most of the items have some sort of labeling on there. So that's where we have an inventory label that's on the eBay order that we will pull that item to get it ready to ship. So we learned that just by watching a bunch of reselling videos. We do put in a card, a thank you card with each one of our sales. So it lists our eBay stores, our Who Betty sites, and so forth. As you can see, we started out reselling about anything that you could buy at a garage sale to flip, anything from stuffed animals to clothing to books, just you name it, we'll resell it. We're gonna probably switch gears and start focusing on more like tools and other high-end stuff. So we've got everything laid out here. We do a lot of priority mail, this is a flat rate package here. We do media mail whenever it calls out for it. This is another thing that we do with the labeling is also our bins out in the garage will be labeled AC. So you go to the fourth slot in there and then you can pull that item. So we use the eBay app to print out a lot of stuff. And then we recently bought a Rollo thermal printer, which came with a roll of some of the labels. We were just printing everything out through just an inkjet printer. This is much faster. You just pull and stick and get everything in there. So we use a lot of poly bags. We pick all that stuff up from Amazon. Another thing too with the eBay stores, don't forget, is quarterly you get an allocation to buy supplies. We use it mainly for tape, but we've pretty much stocked up on tape, so we need to find something else we're gonna do. So we're gonna try to buzz through all this stuff and get it all shipped. And we've been working on this so far for about an hour. So the one thing is there's always the one item that's going to take the most amount of time. Everything else goes pretty quick. But I'm assuming that one of these is going to take a pretty significant amount of time. You got any ideas on which one that's going to be?
Possibly this one.
Yeah, that's my guess too. So that's probably going to take the most amount of time. Everything else should go pretty quick. So we'll do a little stop motion stuff so you guys can watch the process. That's it, folks, for tonight. Putting the last label on the last box. It was intense. We made it through. There was a lot of exchange words, some heated discussion, some things that we'll never be able to take back that have been said. But we're ready to ship tomorrow. And was it worth it? Probably not. But we had fun. So, see ya.
Okay.